Hey, hey, hey! Hello, everyone, and welcome. Chaz here from Electric Owl Works. Today we have something special for you. I'm being joined by Ady and Chaz of Hit the Road Music Studio. We will each be sharing 3 music production tips that we've learned from real-world recording sessions. Ady and his partner Kaja drove from their native Poland all the way to Morocco with a car full of audio and video recording equipment. Once they got there, they bought a caravan, or a camper as we call them in the States, and have been traveling North Africa and the Sahara to record and film on location regional artists who perform indigenous, tribal, and folk music. They then mix and master the music and create videos of amazing quality, which they share with the world on YouTube, Spotify, and other distribution platforms. This video is actually part 2 of a series. Part 1 may be found on Ady's YouTube channel by following the link up here or in the description below. I really encourage you to check them out. They are wonderful people doing fantastic work by giving a global voice to indie artists who may be unknown outside of their home regions. I'm really delighted to present Ady. Hey Ady, how's it going? Take it away.
Yo, what's up? Ady here from Hit the Road Music Studio. Welcome to another episode with Chaz and Ady, 2 producers telling you 6 stories from our past experience, and we hope you can learn something new and implement it in your future productions. If you missed it, check out the first episode. The link is below, and maybe this small ball will pop up here where you can click on it. Chaz, thank you so much for the next invitation, and I really love to do this podcast with you. You're so experienced, man. It's so inspiring just to make these videos together. And by the way, we met in the Produce Like a Pro Academy. It's a wonderful place to be for a producer. It helped me directly after I signed up. I wasn't organized at all, you know. I didn't know how to record. I just did it somehow. And then I didn't know how to start a mix and bring a mix further and how to finish it. This is what I learned in this academy. And also you meet wonderful people like Chaz. We made a lot of collaborations already. So check it out. It's a really good place when you want to learn more about production, mixing and recording. So let's move on. So, my first story for today is why I don't record with Click during our travel recording adventure. For example, we are traveling currently in Morocco and record many bands that play tribal music. And I realized when I record with them, when I use the Click, they get pretty excited and try to keep the rhythm. They don't play natural. Usually in the tribal music, we lived with them and we went to the Sahara. They make the fire, bring the djembe, bring the guitars, and everybody is playing together like in a trance. So I think the Click would kill totally the vibe. The bands are very good, like bands like Dada Tribes that we recorded. They play every day since a lot of years, you know, and they are playing together. They have the chemistry together, and the music and the heart and the soul of the music live from this freedom, let's say from this freedom that there is no click, that they are together and sing together, chanting together. Usually the djembe player is a really good metronome. I remember we recorded the song La Klach with Dada Tribes, and almost the whole track is in 86 BPM without a click. Belcher is just an amazing player. The second reason is I don't have headphones. I don't have enough headphones for everybody. I use the Click. It's not to be against the Click or whatever, because the Click is very helpful. I worked with Polish metal bands, for example, younger bands. So there is basically a lot of editing that you have to do, especially when they are the first time in the studio recording together. So the Click is very helpful. What you shouldn't do, what I don't recommend, is to quantize anything. Especially don't quantize drums when everything was recorded live. It's an absolute taboo. This will kill the track. Try it. Try it, see what happens. But usually, if there are any flaws, something that you don't like or something that is obviously out of time, just go to this point, cut out the snare, and put it a little bit on the side, you know? Just make some editing only there where it doesn't fit. Also, music, when we go on live concerts, I think this preserves the live feeling that you can hear that the band is playing for you when the record desiring this style, you know? Chaz, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Ady. That's good advice. And a perfect segue into my first story, which is, if it sounds good, it is good. I think the first time I heard that phrase distilled down so concisely was from Andrew Sheps a few years ago. That concept has been around forever, and Ady's absolutely right. Sometimes you don't need a click track. If the band sounds great, playing live without a click track, that's how it is. I think one of our important roles as engineers and producers is to help the artist realize their vision for the song, what serves the song. So we do what we have to make sure that it sounds great. Ideally, in a perfect world, we would either receive or record tracks to mix that are of a high quality so that when you put the faders up, it already sounds like a record. So we should all aspire to capturing great sounds during the recording process. The reality is, however, that we're not always that fortunate. Sometimes we receive tracks that need help, or other times the recording process is so hectic that something gets overlooked. In these cases, you may find yourself needing to apply a bunch of corrective EQ just to get the sonic character to where it needs to be to effectively serve that song. In your EQ on a track that you're correcting, you may see crazy cuts or boosts. It could be 8 decibels, 15 decibels. A track might need that much help just to get it to work properly. Use your ears, don't let your eyes fool you. If you have to do a 12 dB cut and it sounds great, it is great. Because if you think about it, nobody's going to listen to the track soloed on Spotify. That's not what they're listening to. They're listening to the final mix that's gone through the mastering process. They aren't listening to solo tracks. So remember, if it sounds good, it is good. I'm going to expand upon this in my next story with this. And what you got, Ady?
Oh man, amazing. My second story, I want to talk with you about the person that we met, that we recorded and that we met, that really inspired me. This is a story that everything is possible if you want to, with whatever gear you have. The person I'm talking about was recording 50 bands with one ultra cheap microphone. And it is I think the cheapest condenser mic you can get, it's an old Behringer C1, big diaphragm condenser. And believe it or not, he recorded 50 bands. The name of the guy is Moa Malal. He tries to keep his culture, the Amazigh culture, the original people of Morocco. He tried to keep this beautiful, colorful, musical, happy, positive, traditional culture alive. So he's an art professor in Ouarzazate. He makes wonderful paintings that you can find in whole Morocco. He writes poems as well as music. So he built his own home studio. And we had a record session with him, with Malal Band. It was a wonderful time and we felt the great spirit of him. And he invited us to his flat and to his studio. So it was exciting to see a Moroccan studio. Coming in, it was a reverberant room with audio interface. He built his own vocal booth in the corner. And only this one mic with a broken mic holder. I'm like, what? You did 50 bands, 50 young bands for free, Amazigh bands, just to keep the culture alive? And the records, okay, they will not win a Grammy, but he's doing it. And he's helping, and people are listening to the music. And that's incredible. I realized I had the AKG P120 mic that I don't use that much. Usually I put it and I muted it in the mix anyway. So I left it to him as a gift. This is for me inspiring. What he was able to do. He had the Cubase, he had his Mac, he had some speakers, his audio interface, and we're recording bands. So big respect to Moa. And if anybody tell you your gear is not enough, that's not true. Just do what you desire with whatever you have. I hope this makes sense. Chaz, what do you got for us, man?
Thanks, Ady. That's good advice. And this leads into my next story. Yes, it can be wonderful to work with people who are inspirational, but sometimes you work with people who are, less than inspirational. So I'm going to call this segment Working with Difficult People. It really doesn't matter who you are or what you do. you are more than likely to find yourself in situations where you and someone else just aren't sharing the same opinion. You may in fact find yourself in a situation with an individual who is argumentative or combative. They may totally disagree with you. They may not be interested in doing what you recommend or suggest. Again, it's going to happen. Albert Einstein once said that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, and I think this is a great mindset for these kind of situations. If you approach these situations in a way where you're trying to build bridges, form a consensus, make compromise where needed, you are going to go a long way to doing the right thing for the song. One of the most powerful forms of advertising is word of mouth. And the most convincing word of mouth comes from people who once disagreed with you or were your harshest critics, and yet you found a way to turn them into being an advocate. It really makes sense to take a challenging situation with difficult people and turn it into a win-win for everybody. So back to my story about this, I had a recording session with a drummer who, I don't want to say he was difficult, but he was certainly stubborn. Amazing drummer, amazing drum set, perfectly tuned drum heads, his cymbal selections were perfect. I mean, everything was spot on. And his drums were set up in a way where there were such close tolerances to where all the drums and everything were. It was like he was in an old Mercury space capsule that was like very cramped. Everything was really tight and really close, and he had been playing this way forever, and that's how it is. So when I went to mic up his drum set, of course I went for a Shure 57 on the top of the snare. There was very little room to sneak the microphone in through all of his stands and drums, but I got it in there, and he looked at it and said, "It's too big. It's going to be in my way." So I'm like, "All right, can we move your hi-hat a little bit?" "Nope." "Can we move this tom-tom a little?" "Nope." So couldn't budge a thing. He was adamant that nothing was going to change on his drum set, and you know what? That's fine. My job is to capture him playing how he plays on the gear that he plays. It wasn't broken. It sounded good. That's how the guy played. My job is to deal with it. That's where this comes in and ties back into my first story about if it sounds good, it is good. So I didn't have room for a Shure 57 microphone, but what I did do, and I'm not sponsored by these guys or getting paid for this, I got a 12-gauge microphone's Blue 12 mic, which is this little tiny condenser mic. It's the same as your Green 12 model, but with a built-in minus 15 dB pad. It's tiny. As you can see, it's actually a little smaller than my thumb. And I was able to sneak that in through all of his drum hardware, get it on the snare where I could capture a snare sound. So the issue, of course, was that this was not a 57 that everybody's used to mixing. It has great high end, a great snap to it, but that body you typically find in a snare drum, like between, let's say, 100 and 150 hertz, isn't as prominent on this as it is in a 57. What I ended up doing was combining room mics, a Sylvia Massey garden hose, and some ambient mics, so that when all these sounds came up, it sounded great. If it sounds good, it is good. I took a difficult situation with a very adamant musician and turned it into something good. You're up, Ady. What's next?
So I really enjoyed these collaborations, man. Thank you so much. So I got the third story for you, and I hope this can be helpful for people who start with mixing. And I want to talk about my mistakes, I would call it rather my way of finding and searching my mixing style. It was very adventurous, because the idea, I'm a musician since 20 years, and the idea to produce and mix came when I was working in an office. It was the third year, and I need the contact with musicians. It's a special vibe. It's a magic bond I have with musicians. So I got curious how to actually record music. I mean, I've been to the studio and it was cool with mics. There was a big Marshall. That was all I cared about. And we had a good time there. But I wanted to learn more. What is a compressor actually doing, and the equalizer, how to use equalizer. And this curiosity became a passion. I took everything I found in the internet, and I started a little bit unstructured, I didn't make the course from beginning to the end, like how to record and mix. What is a DAW? What do I need? I mean, the first thing I bought was a mixer, an analog mixer. What should I do with an analog mixer? I couldn't put the music into my laptop with it because I didn't know you need the audio interface, and I couldn't buy a tape machine as well. So I tried. I just tried. I bought one mic. I read about different mics, how they are working. Then I tried them, and then I thought maybe I need some other mics, some small diaphragm microphones, maybe matched pairs, whatever I saw on YouTube. I told you the story in the first episode where we went to Morocco and recorded the Israeli bigger band, like with 10 people. I didn't know how to structure a mix, how to start and how to end it. This is a lesson. This is something I like to share with you because I had all the multi-tracks that I wanted to mix. I just opened the project and I just did something. I just put the EQ there. I don't know why. I just put the compressor here. I didn't have many plugins, so I wanted to use them. I had the CLA 2A mega compressor from Waves, no idea. It had 2 buttons. I just wanted to use it on something, and the mix got bigger and bigger and bigger and super complex. My recording technique wasn't so good as well, so I had to fix a lot of stuff. But I didn't even know what is broken and what not, what can I use and in which context I can use it. So I tell you, I made the mix 12 times. And you know what information was missing for me? This is what I learned in the Produce Like a Pro Academy, mixing in the box with Warren Hewart. It is how to start the mix, how to bring it further, and how to end it. That's it. So I can recommend you to listen maybe some reference mixes, decide in which direction you would like to go, and make like a mental snapshot. And start with the balancing. Don't touch EQ, don't touch a compressor, just make a regular balance. Well, you will check out what mics you need, what you can delete, and check for phase. This would be the second step. Pan everything, make the balance, check if everything is in phase, and then start EQing. And you will realize you don't need so much. I completely missed the steps. And no regrets, because now I can say I messed up mixes in my experience, it was hard. They're super complex. If I open the mix now, I can't read it even. I don't know what's going on there. And this would be my tip. If you start a mix, start to structure it, make the colors, group everything, make a quick balance, some panning, and check for phase, and then start the EQ and compression fun. I hope this can help you. And let's go back to Chaz. What you got for us, my friend?
Absolutely, Ady. He's absolutely right. Being organized means you're going to be more efficient. This will allow you to work on more projects and get them done faster and at lower cost to your clients. And this brings me to my third and final story. Find ways to add value to the services that you offer to your clients. I've worked with a lot of independent and unsigned artists over the years, and one of the things that I've noticed is that after they have a finished recording, they're not sure what to do. It's become much easier for artists to record themselves or go to budget studios or project studios and get their songs recorded. Because they're unsigned or don't have a record contract, they don't have a manager, they don't have a record label, they don't have marketing people, they don't have folks taking care of music publishing, distribution, mastering, all these types of resources that a new artist or independent artist does not have. We get a lot of projects from artists who have either self-recorded or recorded at other recording studios, and then they don't know what to do. They're not sure if the mix is good, they need it mastered, they're not sure how to work out their splits, they're not sure about music publishing, they aren't set up with a performance rights organization like BMI or ASCAP, they just don't know what to do. They're the artist. They're worried about writing songs, they're worried about getting gigs and performances, merch, all the things that bands and artists have to worry about, that lots of times the business side of things is foreign to them. Once again, there's an opportunity here for recording studios, for engineers and producers to find ways to help artists fill these gaps. Do you have a music publishing company? Maybe you can help them set up their own company. Or if you have a music publishing company, maybe they'd be interested in publishing through your company. Maybe they don't know how CD Baby or DistroKid works. You can add value by showing them how it works if you know how, or if you're set up as a record label with CD Baby or TuneCore or DistroKid, maybe they'd want to publish through you. You can add value to your audio production services by assisting and educating artists, and in some cases by providing them services that they don't have. You should consider making it your goal helping artists get a quality product out, because then that becomes part of your portfolio. One thing that I would suggest that'll help you add value to the services that you offer your clients is to talk to them. Even before you accept a project, it's a good idea to get to know the artist. Go see them perform live, go to a rehearsal, get to know them, and ask them relevant questions. Are the song composers in the band already signed up with BMI or ASCAP? Do they have a publishing company? Do they have a mastering engineer in mind? Do they know how they want to distribute their music? Do they want CDs made? Do they want vinyl? Do they want to just distribute online? Asking these questions will help you determine the artist's needs, and you'll be able to figure out whether or not you can add value by providing services that they don't have. Well, that should wrap it up. I'd like to thank Ady from Hit the Road Music for being part of this video. This has been a lot of fun. So I hope you're all staying safe, healthy, and happy. This is Chaz from Electric Outworks. Peace, love, and Ringo. Be good to each other. I'm out of here. Bye.